Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon session. Just myself running the session with you, so I'll be picking up the questions along the way as well. So welcome along to our session. We're looking at how you go about getting paid online. So specifically, we're looking at a service that we can integrate with. It's Opayo by Avalon. Now, some of you may be familiar with it in that it used to be called Sage Pay. So we're going to run through a few of the aspects that you never know, it might just put a little bit of food for thought. Is it something that you can utilize or not? So we're going to see some of the key integration options in the demo today. Should last maximum of 45 minutes, hopefully a little bit less. We're just going to try and keep it really simple. So as I say, but again, any questions along the way, anything you're not sure of, you will be able to pop them in the questions panel. Now, speaking of the questions panel, if it is your first webinar with us, just to give you an idea of how the session works, is that you should be able to see the slides when I share them. You'll see my screen when I'm working through the demos. So I'm going to try everything live this afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. You don't need a microphone for these sessions. If you've got one and you've enabled it, you'll just find that you're muted automatically. So nothing to worry about. I can't hear you. Now that means you can't obviously verbally ask me any questions, but if you've got any questions and you want an answer to that one, you just need to pop it into the questions panel. To access the questions panel, you just need to click that little icon on your toolbar, the one that looks like the little speech bubble containing the question mark. Give it a click, it'll expand the panel. You get the box in the bottom corner, and then you can start typing any questions or comments that you might have. So I'll pop them in there, click send, should just pop up on my other screen, and I'll try my best to pick them up here and there. Not many of you on the session today, so hopefully it will give me a chance to pick up your questions. So keep them coming. There is a copy of today's slides as well, although I have just rejigged the order, the running order of what I'm going to cover from the uploaded handout. But otherwise, the content's exactly the same. The detailed information, if you do require that, it is available via our help center. Right. Okay, we'll get started. So literally, if you've just joined us there, I'm Michael, I'm going to be presenting. We're looking at getting paid online, one of the options that you have available to you, and it's Opayo integration. So Opayo, as some of you will know, used to be called Sage Pay, and it's now a company owned by Avalon. So if you need more information, you can go via Avalon's website. I'll show you how you can get that via Sage as well as we go through the various demos. So quite a simple demonstration today. So again, just maybe giving you some ideas about options that you've got available to you. So a little bit of background to what Opayo actually is. We're going to run through the integration demonstrations as well. So I don't want to concentrate too much on the setting up of the option. I want to show you what it looks like and what the benefits are, how it actually works. So we're going to look at three options today. One is the pay by card option, the request card payment option, and also the Pay Now. And Pay Now is something that's been around for a long time, the Pay Now option. So including a button on your invoices, your statements, your letters when you send them out. And it means that your customers can click them, pay you online. That information will automatically pull down into your software. So we'll see demonstrations of all three in today's session. Just at the end, I'll explain more about additional support. I'll hang around for questions as well, and just maybe outline some of the webinars we've got coming up as well. As usual, you will receive a follow-up email after today's session. So normally around about an hour after we finish, you'll get that follow-up email. It will include links so you can register for other webinars. And also, if maybe you need a bit of a recap, or maybe there's other sessions that you've missed, then there'll be a link to our recordings page as well. So must be getting on for about 90 to 100 recordings now of different topics and features within the software. So keep an eye out for that. Right, okay, let's get started then. So a little bit of background to the Opayo option. So with Opayo, which is now owned by Avalon, it means that you can accept secure card payments online, directly from an invoice, or even over the telephone. Now, a Pay Now button, if you do embed that onto your invoices or some of your other documents for that matter, so it includes statements and letters, it will make it easier for customers to pay you. So they're not having to pick up the phone and contact you to find out the details, or they're not having to send you a check or pay you cash. they can just click the button, make that payment to you online. Obviously, it's quick and it's secure as well. The payment transactions that are made online will automatically be matched in your Sage 50 account software. So there's an option to download that information, and that will automatically post into your accounts for you. And again, we'll see that in the demonstration today. Now, to learn more about Opayo, and if you wanted to get started, so if you want to learn more about things like what it is, what features are available, pricing information, because there is a charge for using the service, it would just be within your software. Actually, just let me quickly share my screen. So within your software, you would just go to apps and add-ons on your toolbar, top left. And you've got various options or services that will be available. So one of which, and I think it's the last one currently, Opayo by Elevon. Now, I've actually got mine already connected, so mine says manage connection, so I could switch it off if I needed to. Maybe I've tried it and actually I don't want to use it anymore. So I can remove the integration option. But what you'll get is you would get a learn more option. When you click learn more, it will take you across to a web page where it's got various links on to find out more about that service. Now, setting it up couldn't be easier. You do need to apply for your account via Elevon first of all. So again, all that information will be available via that link. And then all you would do is you would go into settings, into company preferences. It's going to prompt me to enter my password again. And you will have this Opayo by Elevon option, this tab at the top. Now, when you first click that, you will get this option at the bottom to enable Opayo. And then it's just a case of popping in your information. So popping in your vendor, your username, and your email address and your password for your Opayo account. You can choose which bank account when you download the information from Opayo into Sage Accounts. You can choose which bank account you want that to go into. Usually people will set that up as a different bank account from the main current account, although you have a choice on that one. And then you get various options for, do you want it to check for transactions automatically when you first open Sage? Do you want it to prompt for a password each and every time? Again, these are just means you can configure it a little bit to suit your requirements. So I've just got much of the default structure, other than I've set up a bank account, which I've specifically called Opayo. So it appears on my bank accounts list, and I've got that set in here. So that's the one I'll need to use when I'm showing transactions coming into the software. Now that's pretty much it. So you set your account up via Elevon itself. So if you need assistance, there'll be information on their website for that one. And then you enter your settings within Sage, and that's essentially it done. Right, now there are loads of options available for you. I'm going to just cover some of the integration options today, so like online payments, phone payments, so taking card information over the phone, and invoice payments. Now, invoice payments is one of the most popular features, so including that link on your invoices when you email them out, so the customers can click it and make that payment online. So we'll run through the three options. So there's three that I'm going to show you: pay by card, request card payment, and then we'll finish with the pay now option. Now, if you downloaded the handout, there is that link on there that should work for you to set up and use Opayo. Again, otherwise just click apps and add-ons and you'll have that link available to you as well. So nice and easy to find the information. Right, let's get back to my screen then, and we'll run through a bit of a demo. So the first one we're going to look at is pay by card. Now, if I just pop into customers as an example, and I've got a customer, let's just close out of that one and come back in. I did have a customer with a balance. I'll quickly pop a balance on this customer just so we can see what that looks like. And we'll just call it services. Let's try and spell that right as well so it looks okay. I'm not very good at typing today. There we go. So we'll just do £100, £20 VAT, and we'll just save that. So pay by card, the pay by card option, it's available in a number of different areas. It's available when we're entering a customer receipt. So just as an example, if we go into bank accounts, and I will choose my Opayo account and then choose the customer receipt option. We got that pay by card option at the top. Now, if you are already using this one, don't get caught out by having the wrong bank selected. So you'll see if I select my bank current account and sort of try to process the customer receipt, you'll see it's grayed out at the top. So I've got to select the account that I've got set within my company preferences area as the Opayo account. Now I've called mine Opayo just so it sticks out. So select the right bank account. I'll choose that customer 3, and you can see the outstanding transactions on that customer account. Now we'll just fill it in as normal. Let's say I'll say card X reference. I'll leave blank, and I'll just leave the amount blank for the time being. What I'll then do is say, right, the customer is going to pay this one, so I'll choose pay in full and pay in full. Let's say they're going to pay both of them in full, so £240 in total. Now what I want to do, because I want to take a card payment over the phone, all I do is I click the link, pay by card. That's going to take me across to my Sage Pay account, essentially. So I'll proceed, fill in the details. So it's just a case of taking their details essentially over the phone. So I'll just pop some basic information in. As I say, my typing's not the best today. And is there a reference? Do they want to quote a reference? I'll just put 123 as an example. I'll then click pay now. And then all I have to do, choose the type of card that I'm going to take the payment from. So we'll say Visa. And then it's just a case of filling in the details. So I've got a dummy card that I can use for the demo. Pop in an expiry date. Again, you're just taking this information over the phone. And I'll pop in the CVC number. And then all I need to do, confirm card details, got the review, see all the information if needed, and happy to proceed at that point. I'll just click pay now. Tells me payment successfully made. Would I like to print a receipt? So do I want to send them a receipt or not? I'll just click no for this purpose. You see that's the information gone. It's saved. Close out, and you can see that there's now £240 in my Opayo account. We'll pop into customers. You can see the balance is 0. Let's just go back to the standard view. So balance is 0, and if I pop into the activity for that account, you can see what we've got is we've got the invoice. I've got a deletion in there from earlier. I've got the second invoice, and I've got that card payment that we just entered for 240. So nice and easy if you're chasing a customer. Ideally, if you're in credit control, got something out that's maybe a late payment, contacting them to chase payment, you can take that card payment there and then. So the pay by card option, it's available in a number of different areas. The customer receipt window, you've got it. Let's have a look at some of the other areas. Invoicing, you have it as well. So I'll just go into a new invoice. If I was to fill in the details of the invoice, I've got the pay by card. So maybe you need to take payment upfront, or you want to take a deposit upfront, you can do that there and then. Actually, I'll run through one of those in just a moment, just so you can see what that looks like as well. Other areas include sales order processing. So if you're on the professional level and you enter sales orders. Quotations, you've got it available in there. A bank receipt, so within bank accounts, you might not actually have a customer record set up for it. So you might just want to take card payment for that one. And also you've got it for a supplier refund as well. So again, you'll see that option at the top. So you take a card payment off your supplier to refund that to you if needed. So a number of different options for that one. It just means that you can get paid a little bit easier. Debbie, I knew there would be some complicated foreign currency questions on today. So Debbie's just asking, will the payment in the currency the customer wants to pay in, i.e. If it's raised in dollars? As far as I am aware, and I'll check this for you, as far as I'm aware, you would be setting your account up in obviously your base currency. I believe you can't accept foreign currency transactions, but I'll try and get that confirmed for you though. I'll just pop an email to you a little bit later on this afternoon, Debbie, if I can find that information out for you. Right, so that's the pay by card option. Now, if you don't want to take card details over the phone, and maybe your supplier or your customer doesn't want to give you that information over the phone, what you can do is you can use the next option, which is request a card payment. So as an example, let's say we're in customers, and let's just pick on this one as an example. So we're in customers, we're looking at the activity, and we think, right, we've got some outstanding balances. We've got the option to request a card payment. Now this is a little bit different. So pay by card, it was me taking information over the phone. Request card payment, a little bit different. So what this one does, it generates a card payment link that you can then send to the customer. And all you would do is enter the amount. So it picks up the full outstanding balance on the account at this stage, but I can amend that if required. So I just pop in the amount. So let's say I want to collect, let's just say £100 at this stage. I would generate a link. It tells me the payment link has been copied to your clipboard. To send this to your customer, paste it into an email. So that's in my clipboard at that point. All I would do is I would open up an email. So let's just access my email. New email. Let's bring it across. And obviously type whatever text I want, but then I would pop in the, just essentially paste that onto an email and fill in the information as I go. Now, customer's going to get that, and they're provided with a unique link. So let's just send that to my other account. Actually, I'll just email it to myself so you can see what that looks like. Check for new emails. So obviously your customer would get that. My email's just opening on the other screen still, so drag that across so you can see it. Obviously, I could totally amend the information, but I've got the link there. So your customer would click that link, takes them across to the payment portal. It's pulled the information through. It's got their reference in there. It's automatically included that in the link, so it knows that already. So it knows when they make the payment who they are, which account it links to, and the amount as well. So they would just proceed, pop in the information. So let's just pop that in. Again, I'll just pop some basic information in. They can pop in a reference if they want as well. So I'll just put my initials in as an example. Now they can, if they needed to, they can change the amount. Now they can't enter a higher value, but they can reduce the amount if possible, if needed. It helps if I enter the postcode. Get carried away now. So we'll pay now. Again, choose the information, type of card, choose Visa in this case. I'll pop in my dummy account again. pop in some details, confirm the card details. And obviously I've got quite a low resolution on my laptop that I'm using today, so I need to scroll down so I can see this information. I'll click Pay Now. Payment is being authorized. Obviously, if you've got things like one-time confirmation codes, etc., that would be included as well. But otherwise, that's it done. So as far as the customer is concerned, they've paid that. Right, let's get rid of these. Now, as it stands, that customer that we've just sent that link to, the request card payment link, there's nothing new on the account just yet. So on the activity, we've still got those 3 invoices that were there. And if we pop into the transactions list, again, you'll see there's nothing new has been added so far, just that original receipt that we entered a few minutes ago. So to download this transaction, because the customer might not have paid straight away, so all we do, we go into bank accounts, choose the option download receipts, and just work through a simple little wizard. So it identifies new transactions, just say I want to process those, automatically allocating them to invoices where possible. I can print out the list as well if I needed to. Otherwise, just going to click close. And again, if we pop into transactions, you can see the additional transaction, that £100 that we just entered, that has now been added into my accounts. Also on the customers, we have a look at the customer 3 account. Have a look at the activity. You can see that the receipt has been matched to the various invoices as well. Actually, I'm on the right account. Get carried away now, I think. Customer 2, I'm in the wrong account. I thought that didn't look right. So if you just pop into the activity for the account, you can see we've got the customer receipt, £100, and it will automatically be matched. So in this case, when we generated that link, it's not specific to which transaction. We're just saying, right, we require a payment of X amount. So it will allocate it to the account. In this case, it's going to allocate it against the first invoice that's outstanding. If there's anything left over, it will go to the next one and continue through that to use up essentially that full value. Debbie, you're also asking about the communication log. So with communication log itself, I think because of the way I've just done it, it hasn't recorded it. Now, let me just see if I add an entry. We can request a card payment in this way. So if you record it via this way, the card payment, then yes, it's going to record that in the communications log, but not via the other areas of the software. Now, again, that's the request card payment, it is available in a few different areas. So if we have a look in customers as an example, we've got request card payment. If we go into the record and into the likes of the activity, again, you will have the option at the top there. So a few different areas in the software. Just depends, I suppose, which you're more comfortable with. Do you want to take card payment details over the phone? At least you know it's done there and then. Or do you want to just provide a link and the customer can make the payment, and then you will then need to download that information via that download receipts option. So again, it's trying to streamline that process. Now, to avoid that in the first place, we're going to move on now to the Pay Now option. Now, Pay Now, it's something that's been around for a long time, the Pay Now option. So it means that you can include a button when you're emailing out your invoices. So we're going to run through a bit of an example. I'll show you what the process looks like. We'll pick on customer 1, and what we'll do is we'll go into invoices and credits, generate a new invoice. Just choose customer 1, and I will pop on a product. And what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm going to save that. What I'll also do is I'll update that to the ledgers. So we'll pop it across onto the customer's account. Great. Right, so we've got this invoice entered, and if we pop onto customers, we can see we got, in this case, £24 outstanding. Pop onto the activity. You can see that's all that's there. So again, I've tried to keep the account very sort of almost minimal, so you can see the impact that these transactions and the processing has. So we've only got one transaction on there, which is this sales invoice. Just so happens it's invoice number 1. Now, if we go back to invoices and credits, and I'll just start by going to the print option. You might have yours set up so when you click email, off it goes. That's it, done. But let's go via print, and we'll choose layouts. Now, some layouts will already have, and they will say Opayo by Elevon, and that means it's going to include the Pay Now button on that layout. So I just preview it, give you an idea what that specific layout looks like. So we'll give you an idea, invoice, and at the bottom, we would have this Pay Now button with some text in there as well. Now, if you've designed your own layout, it's very easy to add that Pay Now button on if you want to integrate with a payment service such as Opayo. And there is information in our help center on exactly how to do that. And it's really easy these days. You would edit your layout within the report designer, and there's essentially a button on the toolbar at the top that says Add Pay Now button. Click that, and then you would just click normally at the bottom of your invoice layout, and it will pop that button into the design of the layout for you. Obviously, you can position it as well if needed. So there are a few layouts that already have it on. So what we'll do is, actually we'll just use that one as an example. And what I'll do is I'll email it out. Now it tells me the report has been successfully output to email. Just okay that. Now if you aren't already emailing it, and it's maybe something that you're considering, we've got some sessions coming up on how to email invoices. We've also got some pre-recorded webinars as well that we've run previously on how you go about setting up your email settings for both invoices and for statements. Letters, pretty much the same. So links will be included on your follow-up email as well, should you want to watch those, and just to help you get set up with the email side of things. Right, now if I pop into my email, so we'll pop into sent, make sure it's gone. So this is it here. I'll just have a look at it. It tells me it's attached. So it attaches the invoice as in this case, a PDF document. And there's loads of options you've got for the information that you can include in the main body, whether you want to attach a signature to your emails, etc. You can set your email templates up as well, so that actually it just saves it to the draft folder. So that means that you can open that draft email that it generates, you can amend it, and then click send. So there's a number of different options, and again, those options will be discussed and demonstrated in the email specific webinars. So anyway, your customer's going to get, essentially, if I just preview that one, they're going to get their invoice. That's obviously going to be emailed. And at the bottom, they're going to have their Pay Now button. Maybe I should have opened that one, that would have helped. Now, when they're ready, and including a Pay Now button, options like this does actually promote faster payment. So when they're ready, they will click Pay Now. And again, they will be taken off to the payment portal so they can make that payment to you. So just proceed. So this is from the customer's perspective. So again, I'll type in some basic details. I know I nearly got away with typing that one correctly. To Newcastle again. I'll remember the postcode this time. Pop in a country. And again, they could change the amount if needed, but we'll just leave it set to that. Click Pay Now. And then we'll just choose their type of card. Fill in their details. Obviously, it's remembered that from when I filled it in previously for the other customer. And just a case of popping in the card details. So I'll pop in that dummy account again. Confirm card details. It's got the information on there if needed. Obviously, it still says Sage Pay. I am in a test environment. That is gonna, obviously the branding, the colors, gonna look a little bit different these days because you'll be going essentially via Elevon. So we'll click the option to pay it. Payment's been authorized, tells them the payment has been successful. And as far as they're concerned, that's it done at that point. Now, if we go back to Sage, have a look at the invoice. It's already been posted to the ledgers. So on the customer's account, we've got that outstanding £24. Have a look at the activity. You'll see that's all that's there. So invoice only at this stage. So from the business perspective or the company's perspective, I don't know that that customer's paid me just yet. I will need to download those transactions or go via that download receipts wizard within the bank accounts area, and it will check for any new transactions. So let's quickly do that. Into bank accounts, download receipts. You would normally be encouraged to back up at this stage. I will always encourage you when you are prompted for that type of thing, do take a backup. I'm going to skip past that. I'm just going to click download now. It'll check for any transactions. Obviously, it's found it. I'll process the receipts. And that's essentially it done. I can print that out, send it to Excel, etc. Eleanor, you're mentioning there when the customer pays the invoice, do they actually receive a confirmation email or receipt for the payment? I believe on the live payment portal, when you're using an actual live account, then yes, you would. Or they would, I should say. They will get an option for that. Right, so that's that transaction downloaded. If we pop back to customers, you can see we're back to a zero balance. Let's have a look at the activity. You can see we've got that customer receipt in there and it's automatically allocated to the right invoice. So all I've had to do there really is I've entered the invoice, I've updated it to the ledgers just as normal, and I've emailed the invoice out. I haven't had to manually enter the transaction, the receipt at all. I haven't had to deal with any checks or cash or take a payment over the phone. I haven't had any involvement in that process. Customers got the invoice, they've clicked the link, they've paid online. All I've had to do is within the bank accounts area, click download receipts, run through that wizard. It posts the transactions into my account, automatically allocating where it can. Now, as I say, the Pay Now option is a very, very, very popular feature, that one. Now, with a PO integration, you've got a couple of extra areas where you have the Pay Now option available to you. So in addition to invoices, when you are sending out statements, so let's just pick on this one because it's got an outstanding balance. So when you generate a statement, again, you can filter your options at the top. If I just choose the email option, It means that'll find some of the Opayo accounts. So some of the statements, again, a bit like your invoice layouts, some will include a Pay Now button, some don't, but easy to pop them on there if you're using a different layout, or indeed if you've designed your own. So choose the appropriate layout. Let's just say I want to email that out. Let's just do outstanding items only in this instance. I'll email it. I'll just accept the default criteria. It tells me it's successfully output to email. So this time I'm prompted, because it's a statement, do I want to update the communication history? Yes, I'll do that. Save it. And essentially that's it. Again, similar to the invoice, that's it done. That's the process from your perspective, almost complete. Your customer will receive that email. So let's have a look at my sent items this time. Oh, it saved it as a draft. So this is what I was explaining before as well. You've got various options when it comes to layouts. The layout I've chosen for statements in this instance is, rather than automatically sending it, it's saved it as a draft. And that means I can go in, I can look at it, I can see what that looks like, I can make any amends if required, and then I can click send. Obviously, you can automate that as well, just so that when you do output to email, rather than it saving it to your drafts folder, it would just, off it goes. Again, saving you time. It can save you a lot of time as well if you think about a statement run. How many statements would you send out at any one time? But if you do a statement run, and then you normally get inundated with the customers trying to pay you, or you receive all the checks in, or combination of all of those, think about how much time that you spend on that, processing payments and manually entering them into your accounts. In this instance, the customer is going to receive that statement via email. Attached to that will be the Pay Now button. They click that Pay Now button and it's pay you online. And then all you do is into bank accounts and download the receipts. And that will be it done. So some time-saving options to maybe think about. How could you utilize that? Would you benefit from it? If you would, how much time would you actually save? Again, if you want more information about Opayo by Elevon and the integration aspect of it, there are other integration options available as well: card readers by Elevon, EPOS, telecounts, etc. They offer a range of services. We just really scratched the surfaces of probably one of the more commonly used options. So do check that out via their website. Right, okay, let me just go back to the slides for a moment. So I did mention a little bit about emailing documents. You've seen how easy it can be. So if you aren't yet emailing your documents, or maybe you're just wanting to learn more about how you go about editing those documents, there's some sessions available already in our recorded webinars list. So again, you will be provided with that link on the follow-up email that you'll receive around about an hour's time. So do check those out as well. It can be a massive time saver, potentially a good cost saver as well. I think when over the years, I've certainly come across smaller businesses where they've got family members in to help out with a statement run because of the length of time it would take, and that would be because they're printing them out. Switching to email, you might do a statement run in literally a couple of minutes, and off they all go. So potentially a good cost saving and a big time saver as well. Lina, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right there. You mentioned there, is there a charge for using Elevon? Yes, there is, but there are different options. So again, if you go within your software, and unfortunately I've already got mine configured. So if you go into your software, just go into apps and add-ons, and if you look for the Opayo by Elevon, which is normally the last option, you'll get the learn more link rather than the manage connection. So if you click your learn more link, and one of the options down the left is pricing. So be able to find out more about that. Now, next week, we are running a separate webinar, and I'll see if I've got the details of this one. Let me just check the time for you as well. Come back to questions in a moment. It's when same time next week, we're going to be looking at invoice payments using Stripe and PayPal. So as far as the invoicing aspect is concerned, if that's the only part you're interested in, so when you're emailing out invoices, you want to include that Pay Now button. If that's all your requirements are, then you've got an additional option as well. So integrating with Stripe or PayPal rather than Opayo. So Opayo includes the Pay Now option. It means that you can include the Pay Now button on customer letters and also statements. Stripe and PayPal integration, it will include the Pay Now option on invoices only. So a little bit of difference between them. And again, would be charges for Stripe and PayPal as well. You'll find all of their charges on the various websites as well. Right, I'll quickly mention while we've got this up then, about the future webinars. Again, links will be included on your follow-up email. Ones that may interest you, obviously invoice payments, it links very closely to this one. So if you think, oh, it's a good idea, but maybe it's a little bit overkill for what you need. You don't want to take card payments over the phone. You don't want to provide a link that you can send out via email. You just literally want the ability to pop that Pay Now button on your invoices for when you email them out and collect payments online in that way. Then maybe come along to the invoice payments option using Stripe and PayPal. So get yourself signed up for that one as well. Loads of other options as well. Over the coming weeks, we're going to be looking at importing data. That can be a big time saver at times as well. So importing customer records, product records, transactions into your accounts, cash flow option. I'm going to be covering that one on Friday. So that's the cash flow option available. That's within the bank accounts area. And we've got some traditional favorites as well. So VAT return, year end, we get loads of questions on those areas within the software. If you just want to build your confidence, if you've used them before, or if you've never used them before, you might come along, see those demos and think, actually, it's not as scary as you thought it was going to be. So coming up to VAT return or year end, maybe come along for a bit of a refresher if you are that familiar with them. But loads of other sessions as well. If you've got any requests, there'll be a little survey pop up as you leave the session today. Pop it on there. We try to include as many of those as we can. However, every time I look at new topics, I think, I'm sure we've covered that one. So there are loads of recordings available. Do check those out as well. Now, if you've got any questions, do pop them in there. I'll try and pick them up if I can. And again, just last call, if anyone wanted a copy of today's slides, then that information is available. You will readily find that information available on our help center as well, just the same as if you've got any other queries to do with your software as well. It's a great resource. In there you'll find support guides, help articles, videos, access to webinars, so loads of options in there. I know a lot of people do feedback saying, right, I've got the slides and I've tried to make notes on the way through. Don't worry about notes because as I say, all the detailed information is available within the Help Center articles if needed. Now, if you do think anything of any questions after you've left the webinar today, do get in touch. You'll be able to reply to any of the webinar emails, which will be then addressed direct to myself, or get in touch with our support team. But do check out the information that's available already in our Help Center. Right, no outstanding questions just at this point. Again, Debbie, I'll come back to answer your question. I'll try and find an answer to that one. But otherwise, many thanks for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe just giving you some food for thought. If you can take a minute to complete the short exit survey, that should pop up as you leave. That'll be greatly appreciated. It should only take about a minute to complete that. So any thoughts, comments that you'd like to share with us, always great to read those. And again, watch out for your follow-up email, which you will receive in around about an hour's time. So many thanks, take care, stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you on some other webinars soon. Many thanks.